should have a vested interest in the future of that location. And Middletown, I think, is a wonderful town. It's the oldest town in Dauphin County. I was drawn to the historic aspects of the town, and my wife and I had our firstborn in May. So that being said, I think that looking forward to the future, we need to make sure the community is a bright one. I plan to be here for the rest of my life. So I think that's why I have an interest in this position. I want to have the best benefit for the community. I have their interests at heart, and I look forward to making it a better place to live for myself and my neighbors.
With my experience as of the police, that I know the operations of the police department, what has to be done, and of course I got along with all the guys and everything, and I feel that you know, with my experience on the police department and being in the borough, that I would be a good candidate for the mayor. And of course, I only moved from one end of town to the other, so I'm here for the duration.
Thank you. Okay, the first question's for Jim.
You know, upon moving to Middletown, I think just in speaking with neighbors and local residents, it became evident that there is some type of problem here in town with regard to its financial stability. That didn't come as a surprise to me, because speak to neighboring municipalities. There are many municipalities across this entire country which are experiencing financial difficulty. So that being said, I'm not surprised if there is a financial problem. In terms of the early intervention program, one of the things that I've said from the beginning in speaking with the constituents and giving speeches is that I would like to see a little bit more transparency from our local government in terms of how do they come up with the numbers and how do we know that those numbers are accurate. I can't stand here honestly and tell you today whether or not the numbers presented by the consultants that were hired are accurate, because I have not reviewed that paperwork. As an attorney in my day-to-day practice, that's what I've been trained to do. I've been trained to look at both sides and come to the middle ground based on the information that's provided to me and based on the facts that are provided to me. I'm not privy to that information right now. So do I think there's a problem? Yes. Do I know if it's as severe as it's proclaimed to be? That I can't tell you. In terms of the positives and negatives of entering into the early intervention program, if the problem is as severe as it has been stated, obviously the early intervention program is a way to nip the problem in the bud before we end up in a position that we can't dig ourselves out of. If it's not as bad as what the current council has said it is, then we're going down the wrong path, and perhaps there's other avenues to pursue. But all I can tell you now is that I do believe there is some issue, there's some financial difficulty, and as mayor, that would be my goal, is to look at the information provided to me, come back to you as the voice of the people, and make sure you understand from an objective standpoint what the truth is behind those numbers.
Thank you.
On that issue, I take a stand, as Bob Reed did. I'm against entering the early intervention plan without, again, seeing firsthand the facts and figures. And again, certainly, I know that from working there over the years, the borough's been fat. We've had good service that we paid for and everything, and certainly with the budget cuts, everything had to be cut. Do I think that the financial status is as bad as they make out? I don't believe it. It's been the workforce has been cut by 50%, and we don't have the services now that we had before. So, and the other parts of that problem, I should say, is that if we are in a financial crisis and we need an early intervention program, again, why are we spending money buying flood homes? Why are we doing fireworks? Why are we buying businesses or buildings for the Historical Society, buying fire truck or chief's vehicles for the fire department? If we're in such a financial crisis, why are we doing this? Which is what leads me to believe that there is not that much of a financial crisis.
Okay.
They're very upset about our police, and they feel bullied, they feel targeted, they feel profiled. that just can't be. I mean, these are people that we need to put our trust in. We're asking to look out for our children. We're asking to look out for our residents. So something needs to be done there. Mr. Givler and I have never said anything negative about one another. But that being said, I do have to differentiate myself why I think I'm a better fit for this position, because the mayor does oversee the police department. As he indicated earlier, he got along with those guys. He's worked with them for 40 years. I just don't think he'll have the objectivity to see what he's looking at in terms of the police department and make a decision, make the right decision based solely on unbiased views. It's hard to pull yourself away when you have a friend or family member or someone you worked with for a long time and hold them accountable for something if need be. I think I'm better suited to do that. No, I haven't worked in a police unit ever, but anything that I've ever attempted, I've accomplished. And I promise you that if I'm elected mayor, I will strive to make this relationship between the police and the citizens better.
As you know, that I couldn't do the job. 40 years of law enforcement, I never shirked my duty. If it meant arresting a friend, if it meant arresting a relative, I did it. I didn't shirk the duty. I did what I had to do. And this is how it's going to be as mayor. I will do what is necessary to bring any good reputation back to the police department. I know in working there all those years what the problem was. I won't get into it, what it was, but I know that I can correct it. I can correct it by being a mayor that deals with the guys fairly and justly. In reference to the civil suits, Middletown has certainly had its share of civil suits. We are taking the blame on one civil suit that lies solely on the drug task force, only because it happened in Middletown. But it was not even an officer from Middletown that was the stem of what this lawsuit is about. Every police department, if they do their job and do it somewhat correctly, is going to end up in some kind of lawsuit. I don't care who you are. Everybody has them. I don't think we've had more than anybody else, but we've certainly had our share. Some of them certainly could have been prevented with supervision. And I think that that, in a nutshell, is basically what the problem has been for many years with the police department. I only spoke to the chief one time. I have no idea what his plans are or anything like that. I've looked at his credentials. I believe they're very impressive. I would like to talk to him and see what his ideas are. I believe he could possibly be a good asset to this department, but I don't know until I speak with him. But as far as definitely doing my job as mayor, I can do it.